Right, I'm back and I've de-Londonified. A long shower, hair wash, good shave, and I feel more myself today. So, a few things to go through. First of all, I went through, I think I mentioned yesterday, part of the anxiety I had was when you shoot on a camera, you don't really know until you get back if everything's sharp, in focus, and if you've told the right story. And I'm glad to say that I do check, but of course, you've only got that little LCD monitor on the back. I have thought about taking displays with me, but that'll come back to another point that Drew wanted me to talk about, which we'll get into later on. Just the amount of kit I can physically take with me, particularly out on location. It's one thing getting it to the hotel room, but then actually carrying it about is another thing. So you've only got that little LCD screen on the back of the camera. It's not very bright. It's not very big. So it's just a risk. But I got back and it was okay. Silly little things, you sort of notice the odd hair that's like on your face, that's the thing when you're shooting outdoors. It was windy as well, you can't control everything, and that's part of its appeal. So when I went home last night, I was slightly concerned that it was only about 7 minutes long, which isn't great from a couple of points of view. Firstly, I don't know if a sponsor would be happy with a 7-minute video. Secondly, it misses that 8-minute mark where you get a second load of AdSense. So overnight, I again began looking at, because obviously I was shooting a load of photos on the phone because of the nature of the job this week, and then I was looking at it last night. I thought, I know what to do. It's to do kind of almost this kind of shot with Lightroom behind me, and then I'm going to begin talking through some of the pictures and where I was and how far I was away and what I found out about the lens. And it really is a very impressive lens. The subject isolation is brilliant. No bullshit. It really is deeply, deeply impressive. So I'm going to get it back into editing. My way of working is to get everything else done and then edit in the afternoon. I don't know why, it's just kind of the way I work. So I've done my admin, I've done replying to comments, I've done emailing, all of the kind of general stuff I need to do. Then I thought I'll do a vlog. Also, I haven't done a reel for Insta this week, so I'm going to flip the camera in a minute and do a reel as well. And once all that's done, I can then just concentrate. So first thing I'm going to do is go through and look at the pictures, find which ones I want, and also look at the metadata, find out which ones I took in the iPhone's native camera app and which ones I took in the Reflex app, and just have a logical procedure. And then I can get back into editing. The video is kind of clipped together now, and it is okay. I still think, even though at one point the camera was a little bit too focused in, too pulled in, and I should have checked that. I checked everything else. I learned from last week and checked it was on autofocus, and so everything was sharp. But there's always things you need to learn to remember. And also, whenever I'm out on location, I always shoot in Rec 709. It's much easier in the edit because then every clip is, you don't have to keep adding LUTs to every single clip. You can just bring it in as Rec 709. Although I am back in LUT today. I'm a big fan of recording in LUT if I possibly can, in Canon Log 3, sorry. Just because the colour profile is so much nicer. But anyway, so I think I'm okay. I think I'm happy. And I've had another sponsor confirm it's a piece of software for the phone. They've now confirmed that's the one that wanted guaranteed views. They wanted it this week. I explained I couldn't do that, so that's going to be next week's video. So before I get into what I really want to talk about on the video this week, which is Drew's comment, I'm going to... we picked up more subs. We're at 69 now as well. And it's always nice when people just randomly find us. Means YouTube are actually doing their job and putting it out there. Yes, this week, I do feel a lot more awake now. I woke up this morning still feeling really, really achy. And I don't think that's an age thing necessarily. I hadn't bothered using I haven't got the watch on, but the phone had recorded my steps. It wasn't until I was sitting on the sofa last night I looked, and I did 45,000 steps Monday and Tuesday combined. And I know it's at pace as well. I was quick. Particularly that dodgy I was in late last night, I told you about. And I'm going to go into more detail of that in a second. So I was aching, and of course all the time you're shooting, your body's tight because you're trying to focus and get as still a body as you can just to move your finger. So the whole thing just left me really tired. So I didn't go out and do any cardio this morning, didn't go through the park. A boat's just gone past my window. On a boat, on a train, on a lorry, don't get me wrong, but don't see that very often. Anyway, so I'm going to try to make the video about what's in my bag. I'd like to get something out this week, if I possibly can, because otherwise it'll be the first time in I don't know how long, I think possibly ever, that I didn't put a video out every single week. If I can't, I can't. Steve, I'm going to take that pragmatic view. I don't feel like I'm burned out particularly. I feel like I've got quite a lot of creativity in me and things I want to do. It's just tired and the amount I'm trying to get through. But if I've got a good I'll see how it goes. I recorded the intro, so it'll be quite a nice little intro. I've got my camera bag and I've got a smaller 8-litre messenger bag that the Reflex sent me as well. So I could make a vaguely interesting video. I don't know how many people would want to see what's in my bag. If you're Peter McKinnon, everybody wants to see it in your bag. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I'm kind of ready to jump and move if I get a chance to. Right, on to the main part of the video. Drew said to me that he was thinking of coming down, he lives in Wales, and he was thinking of coming down to London to shoot and bring his family down, wasn't sure about safety, which brings me on to a very real aspect of what I do, and that is safety shooting alone. The last time I had anyone with me, I think, was Brighton last year when I brought Daisy with me, my intern. She was able to come with me and was a wingman, was able to set up shots and equally to stand by the camera if I was off at a distance. I haven't had that luxury since, which makes things hard. So the realistic picture was when I left home on Monday at lunchtime, I had the 8-litre messenger bag from Reflex, I had my 25-litre Pete McKinnon backpack, and had a really small suitcase as well. So I was travelling with 3 bags. That's issue number one. It's hard to lug about. So I made life as easy as I could for me. When I got to London, I actually used a tube to get over to the hotel, and that was all good. Then it's a case of going out and shooting. Now, say when I'm out for the day, it was slightly different yesterday because I was able to leave some stuff in the hotel and only take with me exactly what I thought I'd need. But when you're out alone, you are a target. Now, when I started doing location work last year, particularly in London towards the end of last year, and I was walking around with the iPhone 17 Pro Max on a gimbal, I felt a real target because you've got a bright orange phone on the end of a stick, essentially, which did make me feel nervous because phones are such a target, and particularly high-end expensive phones like that. The fact I've now switched to shooting virtually everything, and certainly on the gimbal, everything with the camera, it's not quite as much of a target, but it doesn't take much for people to work out that if you've got a camera on a stick and you've got a backpack, there's probably something valuable in your backpack. It's constantly on my mind. It's a constant worry. Now, I had an issue on Monday night. I think I mentioned yesterday's blog. I wanted to get a low. In fact, there's a picture that's just gone up on Insta today. It's already on Threads, but it'll be up on Insta at 6:30 of Tower Bridge at low tide. I particularly wanted to get it. I looked up what low tide, and it was at 10 to midnight. So I went out to the hotel. Google Maps completely threw me a spanner and led me on this merry dance. It was only about 8 to 10 minutes away from the hotel, as it turns out, but they took me on this route through proper old Docklands, like little narrow alleyways by the quayside in London, exactly as the docks used to be. And I was shitting myself. I really was nervous. I felt very exposed and very prone. But to be honest, even then, most of that walk, even at midnight, and this is to your point, Drew, about safety, actually felt pretty okay. And that was an extreme. There were still just people, because it's fairly mild that night, there still was people in the sweatshirts and t-shirts, cycling Boris bikes around and just being about their business. I didn't ever feel anyone was looking at me, apart from when I was off the beaten track, very alone in those alleyways, and that was not a nice experience. Generally, when I'm shooting in London, the rule of thumb is to find somewhere that feels safe. The West End I would avoid like the plague. It's just, my battery's okay, isn't it? The tally light must flash when it's recording, and hadn't noticed that before. I thought it was just on solid. Yes, the West End feels really scuzzy. I wouldn't shoot there. If you want to go there and see the shops, that's fine, but it's not a nice area to shoot in. I just wouldn't feel safe there. It's trying to find decent areas. Canary Wharf feels incredibly safe. Certainly, and this is all daytime shooting. Barbican, again, City of London feels safe. And around the Gherkin and that kind of area, again, Bishopsgate, all that area feels safe. But it's using common sense as much as anything. I generally, most of the time you see me shoot, you'll always see the backpacks on me. That's because I don't want to put it down. I don't want to risk that moment of it being away. Yesterday, for instance, when I was recording, I had the 8-litre messenger bag with me, partly because I was going to show it in the video, partly because I needed to show me using it, and partly because it was I only needed that small bag. But even then, when I was shooting, I had the ankle strap through my leg, so no one could just put it away. It's a case of always being mindful. There's a couple of slow-mo shots I did yesterday where I did set the camera down and walk away from it, but again, it was looking for areas I could see there were security guards within eyesight, so I felt reasonably safe. It's a case of being as smart as you can. It's not to say it's infallible. The worst could happen. I know that. It does make you a target. But I'm not going to stop doing it because I feel it brings... I think the channel now is beginning to get a reputation of vlog-style videos and being out on location shooting. And I like that. I want to be different from the rest. But I am mindful of it. Very mindful of it. I found some great locations to shoot in, places where I feel reasonably safe. I generally always take the 25-litre bag with me, and it is heavy. Generally, I've stopped taking the iPad Pro. It's generally the Neo, in case I want to just pop the card in with a card reader and just check the files on the fly. But I try to take as possible. Even when you try and strip it back, it's still heavy. There's generally a battery pack with me, and I haven't yet got a slim battery pack. It's a power bank, so they're quite heavy. I might have another lens with me, although I'm trying just to take one lens, and that's why I try to just use this kit lens. Look, this camera has got its limitations. It's not great at night, and the lens isn't brilliant, but it is super lightweight. So as long as I'm going and shooting daytime, it's fairly wide. Like I'm on about 16mm, so it's fairly forgiving, and it does all I need in daytime shots. And all of this video I'm working on for Reflex now was shot on this kit lens. So I'm taking this with me most of the time because it's light, it's portable. It is now all insured. I told you I did that a few weeks ago. But personal safety is clearly important. It's something I do take seriously. And as much as it might look as if I'm being carefree, I'm really not. But to answer your question, Drew, come to London. Honestly, summertime, it's going to be long days. Pick those good areas. Pick the Barbican, pick Canary Wharf, pick the financial district. All those areas are fairly safe because they're so moneyed that there's a lot of security there. And the businesses that are there need security around them, and it kind of makes sense. And you just get that vibe when you're there. Of course, there could be criminals around, and of course, it only takes seconds. But particularly if you're recording on a phone, be really cautious. That night when I was walking through the Docklands, I was listening to the sat nav, but I had the phone in my pocket. There was no way I was carrying that phone. I had the Pro Max. I took the Air with me as well, but I had the Pro Max with me. I just grabbed that for whatever reason, habit, I don't know. That was my phone, but I kept it stuck away in my... I'll tell you why I took it. It's because I was using a lens on it. That's why. It was out of sight. And never put phones in your back pockets when you're walking around London. Always have them inside pockets, or at least in your front pockets. Just sensible things like that. Just always be cautious and try to think one step ahead. But other than that, honestly, I'm not trying to put it down. I've had brilliant experiences in London. You know, is my happy place at the moment. I love going there. It has so much to offer, and if I can help sell London in my own tiny little way, then I will do. It's a brilliant, brilliant capital city. And you saw the pictures yesterday. I mean, look at that for a backdrop. What a way to work with that. And it's kind of an hour and a bit away from me. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. So come to London, Drew. I think you enjoy it, but just be mindful. Anyway, I think that's about it. There's quite a lot to mention today, but by the time I speak to you tomorrow, I should know even more about this video, but I'm pretty hopeful now. I think it's going to look okay. I think it's going to be okay. And Reflex just set up a folder for me to put my photos into, and I've shown them one or two of the photos, and they're very happy. And also, Espresso Displays mentioned me in their post today on Insta, and they're very happy. And another viewer's just bought a display, so I think our relationship is good and strong as well. So yeah, things are okay. Right, I need to get on with the rest of the things, but of course, this is part of my day now, so enjoy your Wednesday. I did get back last night thinking it was Wednesday. I thought, shit, I'm really tight on time, but it is actually only Wednesday today, so I've won a day back, which feels good. I will speak to you, as I now know, on Thursday. See you then, bye.